Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage Shell, and today I'm bringing you another small ship. Now, this ship is, well, it's a fighter, but it's actually a little bit heavier, well, more heavily armed than most fighters, I'd say. But it doesn't have missiles, or it doesn't have mini missiles, and it's actually pretty big. It's not exactly a small little fighter, it's actually got quite a bit of heft to it. And you can see here, it's symmetry-wise, it has left-right symmetry with these big pylon things shooting out the sides to give it maneuverability, but up-down symmetry-wise has, well, a fairly different setup. Now, the thrusters are pretty much the same at the bottom here and the top, with the small exception of the fact that if we were to fly all the way up to the top here, you'll see we have three little thrusters, just sort of to give us more personality to the top here. But overall, the actual thruster counts for the top and bottom are actually the same, even if the actual design itself is different, which I'm pretty happy with. As if we look at the ship from the back, you can see though that we have a whole lot of my industrial thrusters stuck in here to try to give this ship a lot of good forward oomph, as I have been lately with a lot of my ships. But we do have a lot of these small thrusters here to hopefully give it actually a fair amount of maneuverability and ability to control itself if it wants to strafe left, right, up, and down. As for the front of the ship here, as you probably saw, it has its docking collar here, which might be pretty hard to reach with a proper station, but you can actually from here go ahead and access all of its reactors and stuff. And as you see, I don't have any supplies in there. Before I put this ship up on the Steam Workshop as a blueprint, I'll probably actually go ahead and fill all these in with actually what it would be needed to fly this ship. At the front here, though, we do have our little antenna, just that way the ship can be named. And by the way, the name of the ship is the Cuttercraft, because it sort of looks like, I don't know, its angles and stuff almost look as if it should be cutting through stuff, cutting through the air or whatnot. But because we're in space, of course, you wouldn't be seeing much of that. As for color goes, you can see a little bit of weird colorization down here, but the main color scheme is just a sort of blue right in the middle, and then it's almost grayish blue right here along the side wings, which I'm pretty happy with overall. Its weapon armament, as I mentioned earlier, are these Gatling guns here, and if I go into spectator mode using F8, we can fly inside and we will see that there is indeed piping stuck throughout these wings here to manage to hook up to the weapons. If I fly through the metal there, you can see that the piping actually does hook up to all these Gatling guns, so the ship should work in survival without any real issue. And you see it's a lot of funniness here, but it was the only way to get the hookups to the weapons like the way I liked, while still having the weapons rotated on their side like they are here. Otherwise, of course, the Gatling guns would have been facing like that, which doesn't exactly look so great when you're in space with a relatively symmetrical ship, and the fact that it's left to right symmetry. Anyway, we do also have some missile launchers on this ship, or at least one auto-reloading missile launcher stuck way down here. Be careful making quick turns, you could blow yourself up, but considering they've recently retweaked missile launchers a bit, that is less likely to happen than it used to be, considering it used to happen all the bloody time. If we fly into here, you can also see that it is hooked up into a cargo container right here that you can feed your missiles into through these nice little joints up here. As you can see, we have, flying inside the ship as we are, you'll see that we have this like four-way connector here, and then another four-way connector here that then actually connects to the actual connectors. Those are basically pipes on the inside, the bigger pipes that lead down into that one cargo container that can hold the missiles directly connecting to the missile launchers. So you can fill that one up with all sorts of missiles, and it'll automatically continue reloading that with all four once it's empty. We do also have another cargo container right here, so if you wanted to separate your missiles from your uranium and your normal Gatling gun ammo, you could here. These are indeed hooked together with a small connector, so you won't be able to put missiles inside this or larger parts, but you will be able to put smaller things into it. And then of course this pipe leads down here into this bottom nacelle here, and actually this is where our reactors are on this ship. As you can see, the large industrial thruster there, but if we follow this pipe down, you can see it links into three large reactors stuck down here at the base of the ship. If we were to actually go ahead and fly back up to the top, you'll notice that we had a pipe coming out of one of these connectors down here. It actually connects in, I believe, where does it connect in? Alrighty, small amount of rework that I just realized I had to do right there. The way I fixed around this pipe that goes all the way up to the top and that goes to those Gatling guns on the side, I realized it was not actually connecting in, because you can no longer connect a small connection into a large connection like that. So what I have is this pipe joint right here. It's really hard to see, I'm sorry, but you see this pipe goes right here where it heads out to the Gatling guns. I've added a fork right here, a T-junction, where it goes into the small doors on the side of this one, and this is mirrored on the other side, so we have symmetry and redundancy all in one. So we got that working, and it doesn't change the exterior of the ship whatsoever. Moving on, we can actually follow those pipes up to the top. Now you'll see they zigzag their way all the way up the inner column here of this top pylon until they reach all the way up here, and you can see we have another set of 3 large reactors at the top here, and a fair amount of empty space every now and again. These large nacelles out the side to allow us our strafing maneuverability are almost completely empty, you'll find, and our gyroscopes for this actual ship, if we were to fly straight into this middle hub again, are actually all stuck right up here. So a lot of the main stuff is in the ship right here, but of course if you lose your top nacelle and the bottom, you'll actually have no power because that's where all the power supplies go. But let's be honest, if you lost both those nacelles, you're probably going to be in quite the shape anyway, and I get the feeling you might be in a spot of other. So hopefully, if that's happened, you're already dead and not just going to be sitting there going, well, this is not good. Anyways, that's this ship. Let me go ahead and hop into it now that I've explained pretty much all of its functions. The braking force, of course, at the front of the ship, you can see here, are mainly from those 2 large industrial thrusters and those 3 tiny little ones at the very top. And if we were to go ahead and decide to fly this ship about, you can see we have all those Gatling guns I mentioned earlier, and if we fire those, it is a pretty damn nice sight to see. You can see there, if I turn too quickly, you will hear the little tat-tat-tat-tat of you hitting your own ship, but for the most part, this does not happen as long as you don't turn too quickly. Right there you can see the impact of me hitting my own ship. It is a larger ship, so I doubt you'll be doing too many really quick turns and then beginning to fire, but it does handle pretty well. As you can see, we have 10 gyroscopes, so it does end up actually maneuvering pretty well. And you can see our power supply is running around 45 to around 60-something% when we're buzzing about, so the ship has more than enough power to get the job done, even when it's doing quick stops automatically. It's pretty nice. Of course, as we said earlier, we do also have missile launchers, so if I switch to the missile launchers, those are down below the cockpit, as I said, and we can fire those off and have our nice little 4 missiles fire before, of course, they attempt to reload, and then we'll begin to fire them again. Luckily, as you can see there, missile issues are far less likely to happen than they used to be, meaning dogfights are now far more possible than they were in the past. This ship isn't quite as maneuverable as some of my other smaller combat ships that I've done recently, but I do feel this ship is actually a pretty good addition to the family, and actually I like its looks a lot, even if it isn't quite as symmetrical as a lot of things I do. I'm very happy with it overall. The wings out the side are quite a bit longer than you might expect, but my original design I'd come with did have long wings out the side, so I just decided to keep them there, and overall I'm very happy with it. Anyway guys, as I mentioned earlier, this ship will indeed be up on the Steam Workshop. Whoa, that was close. Whew, why did it do that? Very, very shortly, and if you want to go ahead and grab it, it'll be a blueprint. Remember, you will have to have my Industrial Thrusters mod installed on whichever world you decide to load it up on and paste it in if you do decide to use this ship. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you, that was close, next time.